All right, here I have some flashcards I've made for the lesson 1 of Henle text. Some things that you should probably do your best to memorize that will help you be more successful. If you'd like to pause the video at any time to give yourself more time to think and when recalling some of your answers, or just to pause it and write down the questions so that you can flashcard yourself whenever you feel like. So our first question is, what are the first declension nominative and genitive singular endings? These are the two endings they're going to give you for any first declension word they introduce. I'll give you just a few seconds. If you need more time, please pause. Okay, flipping it over. We have a and I. Short A, A-E, I. You can see more about this on page 6. Next up, declension cases. Tell me what the declension cases are. Also, again, go ahead and pause if you need more time. Okay, flipping over. We have nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and ablative. And if you want to be even more specific, you could say nominative, subject, genitive, possessive, dative, indirect object, accusative, direct object, and ablative, by, with, from, and often with prepositions. A lot of us have learned this ablative, object of the preposition, but as we learn later, it has some more jobs that it can also do. Next, tell me the first declension endings. This is really important to memorize if you want to be able to translate quickly without having to reference everything. Give you a few seconds. Hopefully you paused. In order to give yourself some more time, we're going to flip. And we have a, I, ah, I, arum, is, as, is. This is also something that you may have learned in Cycle 1. If you do classical conversations, they have a fun little song to help you memorize that, as well as the declension cases. Next up, we have the question, a finite verb agrees with its subject in what and what? What two things does a finite verb agree with its subject in? Flipping over, we see that it can agree in number and person. So agreeing in number means if the verb is singular, so is the subject. And if the subject is plural, so is the verb. It goes vice versa either way. If they either both need to be singular or both plural. It also agrees in person. We have first, second, and third person. So far with the verbs they've given us, we've only worked in the third person, the he, she, it, and the they, but soon you'll be introduced to the first and the second as well. All right. The direct object of a transitive verb is in the what case. So what case is the direct object in? Flipping it over, accusative. A little reference here to page 13. Next up, the verb usually stands where in the sentence? When you're declining from English into the Latin, where do you put your verb? Well, it usually stands last in the sentence. Find more on page 14. Okay. Adverbs, like non, usually stand where? So stand blank blank, the words that they modify. So where, as compared to the words that they modify, do they stand? Well, they usually stand immediately before. It's on page 15. Lastly, our question is, the possessive case and many English of phrases are translated by the what? So what case would the word be in if it is a possessive word or if it's an English of phrase? That would be the genitive, found on page 16 if you want to know more. Please feel free to go through these anytime you wish to get better acquainted with these rules so that it makes your translation so much easier and smoother.